Well, PlayStation Neo has finally been revealed. It is now called the PlayStation Pro. Much to the dismay of many fans who held their breath hoping that Rockstar would release something Red Dead Redemption related, even though Rockstar was at the PlayStation Meeting, according to sources and all this other crap. There was no Red Dead Redemption. For me, that put such a damper on the whole thing, I lost a lot of interest there. One of the big fuck-ups Sony did with this meeting was the simple fact that it streamed at 1080p and it was compressed to all hell. It was just horrible to see, so you couldn't tell a difference in any of the videos and photos. It was just sad. Like, why didn't they put this in 4K? What moron sat there and said, we're trying to promote 4K, let's stream it at 1080p compressed to all hell so people can't tell a difference? Smooth move, Sony. Smooth move. On top of that, they were pushing HDR real hard, which leads me to believe that HDR televisions and monitors are just like, it just seems to me Sony is now trying to sell people on 4K televisions with HDR features or monitors. And frankly, Sony happens to have a couple 4K HDR selections. Now, you may sit there and say, isn't 4K and HDR the same? Well, no, HDR isn't about increasing the number of pixels. It's about making every pixel that's already there better, okay? Yeah. So, let's put it this way, because, I'm not a master of this. 4K essentially eliminates the need for anti-aliasing in most cases. Anti-aliasing really sucks a lot of juice out of your GPU or computer, whatever. At 1080p, the jaggies is definitely needed, like anti-aliasing, SAMAA, FXAA, and all the NVIDIA versions of AA, anti-aliasing. With 4K, this doesn't become an issue. HDR is about making the pixels better. From what I understand with HDR, it adds far better color, which for certain areas like sand and so on a normal monitor or television, you're not going to see that much detail. But if the color is definitely better on these HDR monitors and televisions, you can now see the subtle nuances in the colors of the grains of sand, adding a new level of immersion in detail. Just, theoretically, I don't know for sure. I haven't seen an HDR TV in person. I've only seen 4K. Now, as I was saying before, HDR seems to be the thing that Sony's pushing. One, it'll probably help with the way games look on consoles, because a console, it's only 2 times more powerful than the PlayStation, because that's what the PS4 Pro is. How the fuck is something 2 times more powerful supposed to support a feature that's 4 times the graphical power of the 1080p gaming that we're so used to? It involves a lot of trickery, honestly. Was it Crystal Dynamics that helped make Tomb Raider? I'm not 100% sure, but they were quoted as saying Tomb Raider plays at 4K, but it's not a native 4K, which basically is a subversive way of telling you and I that it's just upscaled 4K. Now, The Last of Us will play at 4K natively. 60 FPS, I believe they said. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to delve deeper. Now, that's not really surprising. It's a last-gen game. Bumping that up to 4K shouldn't be much of an issue. Just like playing Mass Effect 3 on my computer at 4K isn't an issue, if you catch my drift. But with newer games, I don't think it's going to be the same. It's not going to be that possibility. Take into account Mass Effect Andromeda, which has been already stated and confirmed by developers, even though it's in a pre-alpha state, that it will only play at 30 FPS on the PlayStation and PlayStation 4 Pro, which to me seems kind of like a big pile of shit. Why the hell can't the PS4 version, PS4 Pro, God, it's so fucking much of a mouthful, why can't they just say Neo version, play it at 60 FPS at 1080p? Like, why is that not an option? Maybe later on Sony will be cool and let this slide. Most likely they will. They won't have much of a choice. I mean, Scorpio's coming, and I think that's why Sony decided to drop the PlayStation Pro on November 10th to get that 1-year jump. I mean, let's face it, the weaker system but has a year jump on the competitor most likely wins the console war. But in this case, the PlayStation 4 Pro really isn't kicking that much ass, and a lot of people are pretty much saying they're going to wait for Scorpio. Me personally, I think that'd be the road I'd take too, if I were a console gamer. Nothing the Neo showed off was too amazing. I mean, there's a whole lot of HDR and showing us games from last gen playing on the PlayStation 4, but slightly better because of HDR, a lot of freaking fucking da. But all in all, the whole event was lackluster. I watched Twitter basically explode with people pretty much echoing my feelings of the whole conference being really kinda lame. There wasn't no energy or buzz, there was no magic, there was nothing that made you go, holy shit. Maybe it's because PlayStation presented everything so poorly over the internet. And from what I'm understanding of people who actually attended and were able to get their hands on demos and see it live in person, it was actually quite impressive for what they could achieve. But for us homegoers, that was not conveyed at all. I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know what the average console gamer is going to do. But personally, I really feel like the PlayStation 4 is about pushing 4K in HDR. And Sony's probably hoping people will be brand loyal and buy HDR TVs from them. Let's see. I'm currently Googling HDR televisions. Here we go, HDR 10. There we go. Finally found it. Holy shit. Everything HDR 10 that's 4K is a minimum of $1,000. This HDR television is $10,000. That is kind of ridiculous. Holy shit, man. Now this one is from what? Panasonic, Samsung, LG. LG makes good stuff. Oh well, do you even care? I mean, probably not. Most of my subscribers are PC gamers, so to them this probably doesn't mean much of jack shit. I think I'm not the only one who feels Sony dropped the ball with this one. And I think when Xbox Scorpio comes out, the PlayStation Pro is going to get buried. Like, I really think it's going to get just completely crushed. Ah, well, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Thank you as always for tuning into my channel. And fuck, my phone's going off.